Hello, I'm Leonard Nimoy. 1950 was a time of turmoil as well as great moments. In Asia, the Korean War began. Meanwhile, in the U.S., the world's first credit cards revolutionized consumer spending. 1950 was also the beginning of the drug culture, where a Milltown tranquilizer could transform your stress into a hazy fog. In this year also, Frosty the Snowman made his first public appearance, as did Whoopi Goldberg. In the sports arena, Ohio State beat California in the Rose Bowl. And with that, we now present the 1950 episode of Our 20th Century.
At the White House in Washington, top defense officials of the nation gather to discuss the gravest world crisis since Poland and Pearl Harbor. The flagrant aggression of Chinese communist troops in Korea arouses the country's ire. With the North Korean bandits well under control and with the promise that UN troops would be withdrawn, the unexpected entry of 300,000 Red Chinese across the Manchurian border may well precipitate World War III. President Truman voices his accusation of red imperialism.
The forces of the United Nations are in Korea to put down an aggression that threatens not only the whole fabric of the United Nations, but all human hopes of peace and justice. If the United Nations yields to the forces of aggression, no nation will be safe or secure. If aggression is successful in Korea, we can expect it to spread throughout Asia and Europe and to this hemisphere. We are fighting in Korea for our own national security and survival. We have committed ourselves to the cause of a just and peaceful world order through the United Nations. We stand by that commitment.
On the battlefront in Korea, United Nations forces fight desperately to meet the Red attack. Here our troops must face what General MacArthur has termed a new war. Outnumbered more than 2 to 1 by Chinese and North Koreans, the UN forces hope to regroup and to meet the overwhelming attack which has broken their fluid lines of defense across northern Korea. The president has stated that the use of the atomic bomb is being considered to halt the communist onrush inspired by Russia. His hope is that the employment of this devastating weapon will be unnecessary, but the final hope lies with the United Nations. As United Nations forces dig in for a winter stand against overwhelming Chinese Red hordes, General MacArthur, Commander-in-Chief in the Far East, visits the fighting front in Korea. Accompanied by General Walton Walker, he gets a close-up of the situation, his first since the Chinese attack drove the Allies back from the Manchurian border. Following his inspection trip, General MacArthur expressed confidence that his forces would be able to hold their own.
Joltin' Joe DiMaggio, look at him. Idol of millions of baseball fans over the nation, signs a new contract for another year with the champion Yankees. Joe gets the green light from George Weiss, general manager of the great American League team. Shh, it's supposed to be in the neighborhood of $100,000. That means the top swatter of the stadium has run up a total take of $500,000 in his diamond career. The slugger is really going to town this year. Those home runs will slay the opposition. Lift them over the fence, Joe. We're in there pitching for you.
Baseball and 2 big stories of the year. The Yankees wrote the first one. Again, they won the American League pennant. Casey Stengel's Bombers met Eddie Sawyer's Whiz Kids, the Phils, in the World Series. It was age versus youth, and age won in a 4-game sweep that saw Joe DiMaggio, Phil Rizzuto, and company proving they were champs in convincing style. That made it series victory number 13, lucky 13 for the New York Yankees. Winning was a habit with the champs. Baseball's second big story concerned Commissioner Happy Chandler and the surprise vote of the club owners at year's end not to renew his contract. Baseball said to Happy Chandler, "You're out."
The March of Dimes gets off in style at New York. This worthy cause to raise funds for victims of infantile paralysis is attended by hundreds who pay $25 and $50 a seat to aid polio sufferers. Lillian Gish and Mrs. William Randolph Hearst, Foundation President Basil O'Connor, and Helen Hayes are present, along with such social leaders as Bobo Rockefeller. In fact, most everyone prominent in one way or another in the big town lends support to the nationwide drive for dimes. fashions from way back to the present contribute their share to the campaign.